Welcome, everybody. March Madness is wide open, and I'm joined once again with my friend Ross Benjamin, who has absolutely been on a tear. 24-10, which is 71% last 16 videos. So first and foremost, Ross, my hat is off to you. You're absolutely doing the job, and I know you're doing it with limited sleep. This is just wide open, but we're up for the challenge. So let's get right into it. Butler is taking on Virginia. You can catch it now plus 8 points. This is the first meeting between these two squads, and I think Virginia remembers very well getting knocked out of the round of 32 last year. So is Butler the team that can do it again this year, Ross?
Well, I don't know if it might be a bit of a stretch to pick the outright upset here, but after watching the first 2 days of the tournament, anything's possible, Mike. But let me get this right out of the way. Virginia is an excellent basketball team, well deserving of a #1 seed, and they're playing tremendous basketball right now, and they're going to be awfully tough to beat. But having said that, there's an underlying factor here when it involves the Butler basketball program. They just have developed a winning culture over the last 10 decades, and that's carried over to this club here. If you think about their NCAA tournament history, Mike, their last 10 appearances, they won at least one game in 9 of those 10 appearances, and they've knocked off two #1 seeds since 2010. Now, having said that, getting to this particular matchup, they're coming off a solid performance in a 10-point win over Texas Tech in the opening round. And that made them 8-3 in their last 11, and they've covered 9 of those 11 contests. Their only losses in that sequence have came at the hands of Villanova, Xavier, and Providence, and all three of those clubs still remain in the 32 teams alive to win the national championship. So I think that Butler will make this game a lot more interesting than Virginia fans would like to see. I like the points in this contest. I'm going to take the sizable 8 points here with Butler over Virginia.
Those are some good words and good numbers, and numbers don't lie. Yeah, Virginia had quite a scare. Coach Tony Bennett had fainted in the first half last game, and he came back in the last 20 minutes. They just buried that Hampton team. So, is there a lot of emotion for you, UVA today, or does that kind of take the focus away from Butler? But one thing you said about Butler, not only have they covered the last 9 against the spread, the bottom line is this team is exactly like you said. It's their culture now. They step up to big games. They expect to be here, whether they feel they, were shied a little bit on the seeding. Bottom line, they know how to show up, and that's what Brad Stevens did for that program before he left. 8 points, so there's nothing, I don't know. I think an outright win could be possible, but I think Butler will be focused. So you heard it, viewers. Butler plus the 8 against UVA. Very interesting breakdown from Ross. Now, in our second game, UALR, who is absolutely just on fire and walking on clouds right now after their big win, they're taking on Iowa State. This is a 12-4, and right now you can get UALR plus 6.5. Ross, break this one down for us, and can this team continue the momentum?
Well, if you ask the kids from Little Rock, they're going to say, what's the big deal? We expected to be here. I mean, what a show of resilience and character in the opening round game against an extremely good Purdue team.
Wow.
They rallied from 14 down with 5 minutes to play in that game, forced overtime, and then walked away with an upset win. This is a team that's just not in a lot of situation. I mean, like I alluded to on our video on Thursday, they've beaten good teams this year. They went on the road, knocked off San Diego State, they knocked off Tulsa, and they also went to DePaul and just absolutely annihilated them. So, again, Mike, my 2 prerequisites I like to use when isolating underdog value is a team that plays good defense and has the ability to hit 3-point shots at a very high rate. Well, Little Rock fits the profile for each of those contingencies. You're looking at a Little Rock team allowing just 60 points per game this season, holding opponents to less than 39% shooting, and they also convert at better than 38% from beyond the 3-point line. Those are 2 assets that are bode very well for an underdog. Iowa State, excellent perimeter shooting team, Mike. No question about that. Stellar resume. But to me, they're suspect defensively and very vulnerable. And they could be exposed on that end of the floor. And we're going to see today if Little Rock could shut down their perimeter game, or even neutralize it, how Iowa State reacts as a big favorite down the stretch of this game. I'm going to side with the Arkansas Little Rock uh, plus 6.5 over Iowa State here. Wouldn't be shocked whatsoever if we saw an outright upset here, Mike.
Wow. Wow. Outright upset, and that could happen. 9-1 in their last 10, UALR, and they're 7-3 against the spread in the last 10. Iowa State, this is a team, their last 6 games, they're 3-3, and like you touched on, their defense and their turnovers, not taking care of the ball, were very, very big factors in the 3 losses in their last 6 games. So, this is a big wake-up call. That win over Iona, they better not get too excited about it. And I know that Purdue is absolutely whooping themselves in the ass, kicking themselves in the ass for letting that big lead squander. Now, is that a fluke? Maybe they overlooked it or took it easy? I don't think so. I think that's where UALR, their confidence kicked in. They put the foot on the gas pedal and they just never let off. That was a very admirable win, and I really enjoyed watching it as a fan. Okay, viewers, you heard it. Plus 6.5 with UALR and plus 8 with Butler today. Those are the 2 tickets that are going to cash in underdog value with Ross Benjamin once again. Ross, my friend, let's find some time to get some rest today, but let's also enjoy some games as a fan and beat the book along the way, my friend.